I've decided today that I'm going to try a couple of tomato plants in other greenhouse. We've got a bit of space there where we lost a couple of cauliflowers over the last couple of months. And we've got one that's got an head on it about this big. And we're just waiting for that to get a little bit bigger and we're going to harvest it. I'm not going to risk letting it get as big as possible just in case it starts to split open, because it is in a greenhouse, and as these days get hotter and hotter, it's not going to suit these cauliflowers. So I'm looking at it every day. I'm just waiting for that key moment when I think that's big enough, and then we'll take that. But beside that, there's enough room to put a couple of tomato plants in ground and get those going. Normally I would have filled nearly all greenhouses by now, but that's only because I can offer them a little bit of protection just in case we have a frost. But we're nearly at mid-May now, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that there's going to be no more frosts. But just in case there is, I've got some of these aluminium frames. We used them outside to make that shelter for us brassicas, but these are perfect because you can just push them into the ground and have a row of them over tops of your tomato plants. And then if we get any kind of dodgy weather coming, we can just chuck a bit of fleece over the top, and this will keep it off of the plants but protect them from any frosts. So because of that, we might as well get a couple of plants in today. And I'm going to put some of these in, the San Lorenzo Italian plum ones. They're a good size. We've cleaned away a lot of the leaves front bottom, as you might have seen on a previous video. We're picking out these little side shoots as they grow, so we don't really want those. And we're going to pop in a nice clean plant, and we've got a couple of those. So I'm going to pop over to other greenhouse. We'll just churn that ground up a little bit to loosen it, pop some fertiliser in, and we'll get this first tomato plants of 2023 in ground. Back in this greenhouse where that amazing looking cauliflower is. Keep seeing a couple of little bugs climbing on it, but I don't think they're harming it. But this head is not a bad size, so we're constantly keeping his eye on it. And I keep putting these little pegs on top so it pulls those leaves in like that, because I don't want it getting constantly battered by sunlight. Just offering it a little bit of protection. But beside it is where we lost a couple, so at least we can get a couple of tomato plants in. Meanwhile, we're waiting to see if this last one is actually going to do anything. So far it's not really showing any signs of forming a cauliflower head. And on the other side we've still got those red cabbages and Savoy cabbages, so we can't really do much of anything there at the moment. But we can go round this underneath today, because there's quite a few old decaying leaves and they're just going to attract slugs, so we need to clear all the bottoms of these plants. And basically I'll take all these bottom leaves away, we don't need those no more, so I'll just knock them off all the way around that plant. And make sure we get right at the back, because all these leaves have been damaged by slugs, and obviously things like that attracts even more. So I'll do it around every single plant. It's not going to hurt the plant doing this. You're just keeping the area tidy. And then at the same time you'll notice that there's quite a few weeds, so we need to get rid of those as well. And the exact same thing with these red cabbages. We don't want them putting all their energy into trying to grow and feed all these bottom leaves. We want the tops to form now, so we'll get rid of as many as we can. So that's all those cleaned up underneath in just a few seconds, and that's what we've took away. So anyway, now back to this part. We're going to put them two tomato plants there, but I'll give it a little bit a redig over, and we'll chuck some fertiliser in as well. This ground's being dug over 2 or 3 times a year, so it makes light work every single year when you come to replanting things, because it's virtually already prepared for you. We just like to give it a quick dig and get rid of any unwanted weeds. And then I'll just give it a quick rake and we should be alright at that. Just getting rid of any stones. And then I'll pop a bit of feed on it as well. And now we can get these plants in, and you can see that they're really good stocky little plants, these. There's no stretch on that stem whatsoever, thanks to keep burying it deeper and deeper every time we potted it on. So we've already got a really good start. So that's basically where we're going to be putting it, far enough away from that, but we have got some spring onions in here as well, so we could probably take it to there and give it some space that way as well. And we'll dig it a nice deep hole, and I'll pop a bit of that bone meal feed in the bottom of that hole as well. And then we'll get this out, and you can see it's had plenty of room for root growth, so no problems there at all. We'll get that sat in and then just fill around it. At the same time, we're mixing that fertiliser into the soil on outside as well, so nicely firmed down, nice and straight. And that's his first planting. So we want to be going a good distance away from it, because this plant needs room to grow. So I'm going to give it quite a big gap. Which will end up not being such a big gap when these start growing. And we'll get feeding for this one as well. And then same job again, get it in, firm it down, and then just fill back around it. And that's 2 in. And for now, that'll have to do. We haven't really got enough room to put another one because it'll be too close to that cauliflower, but that's a start. And I'll stick my label in so we know what type they are. We'll water these in around the base of that plant because we don't want to be splashing this foliage. That's going to cause problems later on. So they've had a good watering, and we'll do those spring onions while we're here as well. The ground in here is quite dry. And then last, we can pop these in, and you can see they're just the right width for this greenhouse. If you haven't got any of these, just make some out of canes, and we'll put one in between each plant. And then we'll put another just past that second one. And now we've got a frame that we can just put some fleece over. So if it does drop too cold, that's not going to be a problem for these plants. A nice little job done on Coronation Day. We've got our first tomato plants of 2023 in ground now. And we're not going to be worried about them too much because we can offer them protection. And meanwhile, we'll be keeping an eye on that cauliflower, because as soon as we harvest that, we can pop another plant in next to it until we've filled that row. I know we've done it 1,000 times before, but planting out your first tomato plants that year is always exciting. So we've got 2 in, We'll monitor that cauliflower, and as soon as we can pull that cauliflower, we'll get another one in. And at the same time, we'll start and get this greenhouse dug over and tidied, ready for these sweet million cherry tomato plants going in. And if you're interested in seeing what else we're going to be doing tomorrow, please hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care and enjoy your coronation bank holiday.